How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about fuel efficiency of this 2023 Mazda BT50 and how much that canopy affects it. We haven't tested the fuel efficiency without the canopy on, but we can tell you what it is with this big canopy on, and the big tent and solar panels on top, awning sticking out the side. We've got tyres which are a bit bigger, so we can really understand how efficient this new car is with all that stuff as additional on it. We'll also have a look at the fuel tank we've got in it and why we decided to go with that kind of fuel tank and the specs and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. Oh, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Real easy. I think it says subscribe. Click it, ding, does it all for you. And that way you help us out, we help you out, we help everyone. Now let's do it. So just for your knowledge, the tyres we run on this are the Wild Peak Falcons, and they are, the size is 265 70 R17. So they're a little bit bigger than stock, which I'm not 100% sure if that makes it, I assume it makes it less fuel efficient. And they're also all-terrains, ATs, so that may change a few things as well. Maybe not dramatically these days, but I guess compared to what they come out of the factory in, that's something to consider. We have the meter-high canopy. If you want to see what's inside this, go take a look at last week's video because we run through the kitchen. You can see it sits like above the headboard a couple of inches, then there's another inch space, then there's the ladder racks, then there's the tent, then there's the solar panels, and it's very inefficient when it comes to like streamline and like wind resistance. And this probably just gives you a better view of what it looks like. It's just the way we've set it up, and we've really set it up not to be overly fuel efficient, and it was more of ease of camping and that kind of thing. So that's why we did it like that. If you're really looking to be fuel efficient and like the most wind resistance you can be, there's probably a few options. One is don't get a canopy so high, get the most streamlined tent you can possibly get, and then maybe the solar panels, the ones that stick, like the flexi ones that can go on top, because that kind of will probably make it a little bit better for you. The other thing is also, I guess, a big one, I don't know if this makes much difference, but like having these ladder racks, ideally I'd cut them off and then just have the tent mounted straight on the canopy. But we do have, you can see through there, maybe a vent for air. So that's the reason I haven't done that. What else affects the efficiency? Maybe not too much more. That's probably the big problems. A lot of people, not a lot, but I see a few people have like those like wind like things that push the wind up and I guess over, so it makes a bit more of a better flow. And also people have kind of put solar panels on an angle and it kind of pushes the air over your car as you drive, I would assume. So there's a couple of options if it's a real big problem for you, but I would suggest from the get-go, from the design point of view, if you're doing a canopy on your car and you just want to be as fuel efficient as possible, because fuel these days is obviously expensive, so it's something to definitely consider, and we'll do it again. We would definitely consider it. Now, coming into the car, if you want to see what type of car this was and we'll go over all the features, we've got another video for that. This is the 2023 Mazda BT50, and unlike our old 2010 car, it actually tells you stuff on the dash. Obviously, every time we fill up with fuel, we set the odo, reset the odo, and then it kind of tells you your fuel efficiency as you go. We've got it set to show kilometers per litre. So obviously the more kilometers per litre you get, the better your car's running. And at the moment it's at 7.9. So it changes obviously if you're going to be doing like hills or windy roads, or you've got it in four-wheel drive a lot. One flyer like got in here. Straight roads, 110. The other thing we've noticed, and I'm not sure if this is like all cars or if it's because of this engine, but if you're running at cruise control and you're going up a hill, maybe it's because of the weight, but it just revs the shit out of it. And then obviously like you're going really high RPMs, and then that pushes the fuel efficiency down. Okay. We sometimes either, if you hit a big hill coming up, we take it off cruise control and we'll just let it go. And we'll kind of just like bring it back to 80 k's an hour or something. So we kind of just sit on like those 2000 revs and go up a bit slower. Just for, yeah, the fuel efficiency really. 7.9 kilometers per litre. So if I just do some quick maths, how many litres per 100 k's? For litres per 100 kilometres, 12.5 litres per 12.5 litres per 100 kilometres. So good, okay, not bad. Some are worse, some are better. I think it's around the mark that we would probably expect, especially this having this big thing on the back. So that's something to consider. So when we first got the car, obviously I think you've got a 70 litre tank in these things, and we're like, we'll see how it goes. We're driving from Brisbane to Adelaide, and it just would, like, I don't know, it chewed through it at the same like economy, but it just didn't seem like we're getting far enough. And it was annoying because our last car had a 120 litre tank, and it was just annoying having to fill up all the time. We were bound by our fuel tank, pretty much saying you had to get the fuel here regardless of the price, because we were going to run out otherwise. So that was a big thing. We were tossing and turning. We were like umming and ahhing about what we should do, and we decided eventually to get a bigger tank. Now again, there's lots of options out there, what type of tank you could get and all this kind of thing. In the end, we just decided to go for an ARB Frontier. Oh, here it is. ARB Frontier diesel fuel tank. It's written up there, which is 130 litres. So it was an extra 63 litres, which we thought like is ideal, and it absolutely is. It means you've got that leeway to kind of, I think we get over 1,000 kilometers, just over 1,000 kilometers now on a tank if you're running it around the 8 kilometer a litre mark. It really just gave us that more flexibility to fill up cheaper here. Whether you make your money back over a certain period of time is a bit different, but it was also that ease of we can go to a campsite off the beaten track and then go further. We've got that flexibility to drive further. We know we've got extra like capacity. We're not going to be like, oh, we can't go any further because we're going to run out. So that was a big thing. So the ARB, we got it in Adelaide. We're like, fuck it, we need to get one. So we're really happy we did. Obviously they're not cheap, being ARB, being the quality they are, labour, blah, blah, blah. From a point of view of like, you really want to enjoy where you can get to, we thought it was a no-brainer. The other thing we do carry, let's hop out here. This is a 20 litre Jerry. It's something that we don't always have full. It's more of a, if we're gonna go somewhere really far. So on the Gibb River Road, on the Oodnadatta, the Vic High Country, all those places where sometimes you might be there for a bit longer, or you might decide to take a detour, or, you know, go a bit further than you originally planned. It's always best to have this. But the reason we keep it empty most of the time is simply because it's way on the back of the canopy and we don't want that weight. I don't really want to lie on the gravel with my puffer jacket on, but let's have a look under here. So the Frontier tank, it's like a plastic, I guess. It's 133 litres and it runs quite a significant like area. Yeah, it's pretty like straightforward. Like, it was just super simple, which we really appreciated. And the fact that it is light because it's plastic is like great for our weight. Obviously a downside is that now the dial in the car isn't a true reading. It's not a big deal. You really learn to understand it. As you're driving, you reset it each time you fill up. You kind of get a good understanding of your fuel efficiency, kilometers per litre or litres per 100 Ks, or however you judge it. I did like ask Facebook people like, oh, can you reset it? Can Mazda reset it? Apparently you can. It's a bit of a rigmarole, so it's probably not an avenue we're going to go down. The other thing that's worth mentioning is a lot of people have those scan gauges, and that gives you a really good accuracy. So the camera just keeps turning off because it's too hot, but it's clearly not hot. Maybe I'm standing a bit too close to it. But yeah, scan gauges are good. But essentially that's how it is. The fuel economy is what it is, and we're probably going to do some tests without the canopy and see what the true accuracy of the car is when it's light. But yeah, upgraded to the ARB fuel tank, 133 litres. Highly recommend it if you're wanting to just have that flexibility when you're exploring Australia. It's well worth the money, and obviously have some backup. So subscribe, like this video. We'll see you next time for another little random video on our car.